What if you could only perceive half of your world and had no idea that the other half even existed? This isn't science fiction, it is the real experience of Alan Burgess, a stroke survivor who developed a condition known as hemispatial neglect. Unlike blindness, this disorder does not result from damage to the eyes, but from an injury to the brain, specifically the right parietal lobe. After his stroke, Alan was shocked to find out that his perception had been skewed. He couldn't see, feel, or respond to anything on the left side, not just the environment, but his own body. This video explores the case, the underlying neurology, and the strange behavioral effects, and also why Alan's story has helped neuroscientists around the world understand perception and attention. Alan suffered a stroke that affected the right parietal lobe, an area of the brain essential for spatial attention. This region acts like the brain's internal GPS, as it helps us detect, focus on, and respond to the space around us. When this area is damaged, especially in the right hemisphere, people lose the ability to notice things on the left, not because they can't see, but because their brain doesn't register that anything is missing. This condition is called hemispatial neglect. It often goes unnoticed in early diagnosis because patients like Alan are unaware of the deficit. In fact, it's one of the most extreme examples of how much our brain filters and shapes our sensory experience. You could place food on the left side of their plate and they'd leave it untouched, convinced that they had finished their meal. Let's take a closer look at the parietal lobe. The parietal lobe, the right one in particular, helps integrate sensory information from all over your body. It allows you to navigate through space, detect motion, judge distance, and even understand the concept of left and right. It's also where proprioception, your sense of your body's position, lives. Damage here doesn't cause paralysis or memory loss. Instead, it causes something more elusive, a break in awareness. Without it, patients like Alan can roam a room or look at their own hand and not even register that anything is missing. It's not about what's seen, it's about what's noticed. That's why injuries to the right parietal lobe often result in neglect of the left side. The left hemisphere isn't wired symmetrically for spatial processing, so the brain can't easily compensate. This asymmetry is why the right side damage causes more severe neglect than left-sided damage. Alan's behavior after the stroke was a puzzle. He would only shave the right side of his face, he'd bump into objects on his left and wonder how they got there. In his artwork, he would only depict half of the drawing. A Christmas card he designed had two robins, yet the one on the left was just an outline, completely missing its facial details. These behaviors weren't just visual. His brain also ignored the touch and sound on the left. He couldn't hear people approaching from that side, and when his left hand was touched, he often didn't respond. Even his internal awareness was disrupted. He lost the idea of his left side. That's what makes hemispatial neglect so haunting. It's not just the hole in a perception, it's the hole in consciousness. I chose Alan's case because it challenges our basic assumptions about how we see the world. Most people assume that what we perceive is simply what's out there, but Alan's story reveals that perception is constructed in the brain, and when the system breaks down, reality itself becomes fractured. His symptoms were dramatic, his insight was honest, and his creativity, especially through art, gave the medical world a unique window into the brain that ignores half of reality. That makes his case unforgettable and deeply educational. Although there's no cure for hemispatial neglect, therapy can help patients recover some awareness. Treatments often focus on visual scanning training, where patients are trained to turn and actively search toward the neglected side. Present adaptation therapy is another method, as it uses special goggles to shift the visual field, forcing the brain to compensate and remap its perception. More recently, virtual reality rehabilitation is being explored, immersing patients in a computer-generated environment that requires full spatial interaction. Alan's condition did not fully go away, but the therapy improved his awareness and helped him regain some control over his daily life. His drawings have become more complete. His story has become a case study, and his brain, damaged but resilient, offers scientists a glimpse into what happens when reality is only half formed. Alan's story isn't just about one man, it's about how the brain creates our sense of space, self, and reality. His condition taught neurologists that the right hemisphere isn't just responsible for artistic thinking, it is essential for attention and spatial integration. His drawings and behavior gave researchers evidence that they could not get from a scan alone. By studying Alan, scientists developed better ways to test and treat for hemispatial neglect. His legacy lives on in the many patients who have benefited from those insights. Alan showed us that the brain is not just an organ, it is a storyteller, and sometimes that story loses half of its pages.